Hi, I'm Phyllis from southernfrugal.com, and we're getting ready to have a little discussion on marriage. And Mr. Bucky's agreed early this morning. I caught him off guard, and so he's agreed to have a little video on marriage. And I sort of did what would you call it, a preamble to the word melding. All right, so here we go. We're going to see what Mr. Bucky has to say about the whole thing. All right, you're on. Now, he's still in his lounge pants, and we got the dogs taking their little morning nap. It's very early. Well, it's 8 o'clock. That's not all that early. But anyway, we've had our smoothies, and we're getting ready to have devotions. But before that, Mr. Bucky's going to speak on marriage. All right.
Marriage,
Yeah.
right? It's a matter of melding together.
All right. And
Meld.
let me
means-
get closer. I wanted to see your scraggly beard. There. All right.
First of all, anybody who's played cards, bridge or canasta or poker even, knows that when we're talking about melding, we're talking about a cards, say, of the same suit or in the same sequence, that kind of thing, called sets. But anyway, so in marriage, melding would be merging together to become alike, blending together.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay, so then to further reiterate melding, so in our particular case, how did we meld together?
I've been trying to get you to meld with me all these years. How long has it been?
All right, now what specifically?
Well, certain things just don't, for example, your exactness. Now that doesn't meld too well with what we want to do as a couple.
Well, all right, so that's who and what I am. I'm an exacting person.
Yeah, I haven't been able to change you.
All right, so an example would be we had a little, shall we say, misunderstanding about putting the plastic bag in the garbage can.
That's right.
And the reason I like to do it a certain way is because I like to get all the air out of the area between the garbage can and the plastic bag. Because if you don't, then you can't get as much in the bag. That's my reasoning.
Right.
And I like it kind of tucked in and to look neat.
Right.
And so, but you've learned to do it the way I like it,
Well,
right?
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's good. You get all the air out of the bag.
But no, it's out of the area between the bag and the garbage can. Now, isn't that just such a little teeny thing?
Right. Now let's talk about a little bit about if you've got. First of all, I'm a perfectionist in certain ways too.
Uh-huh.
Anything I write, I want it to be letter perfect.
Yeah,
You
on
know,
spelling, you're really terrible. You're always correcting me on spelling.
because there was a certain things about me that I doubt if you'll ever be able to change. We're not going to ever get to the completion that where we're always alike in every way.
Well, but being different is part of the experience.
That's right. It would get boring if we were alike in every way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
So, if you don't meld together, you end up getting a divorce, don't you?
Right. If you don't, you got to accept each other for what we are.
Right.
And that goes to complete the marriage because otherwise we would just be out on our own.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to tolerate each other.
Yeah.
Say, well, now you don't do like I do. You don't want the same things I want. So let's go our separate ways.
Oh, I just thought of one way we're totally 100% different. Like when we're working on a project or doing anything, I like to do the hardest thing first and get it over with. And you like to do the hardest thing last.
Yeah. Well, what you're doing is ridiculous. Because
Wait a minute. Now, this, hey,
no,
this is
I'm-
my video,
I'm
and you're
serious.
insulting me
Okay,
already.
I'm serious. In education, we learn, and you remember too, when you first started to read, you had to read and understand letters, and then words, and then put them together in a sentence, and that kind of thing. The same way with numbers. You had to recognize a number, and then you got to recognize a higher number. What can you do with those numbers? Can you add them together, subtract them? Each process a little bit more difficult. And so that's the way I approach things. If I've got something to do in the yard, I'll do the easiest one first and then get to the next one. Because it's a matter of using that same logic.
All right, so you think that's totally the right way to do things?
Of course.
And
But
I
that's the way
think,
that's
all
the
right,
way I've always
all
learned
right,
and
all
always
right,
been taught.
all right, I'm
always
gonna,
taught.
all right, I'm gonna do some camera time. All right, so this is how I think about it. I don't like to do the hard thing, so I want to do the hard thing first and get it over with. You know, I mean, I just want to get it over with. So if I do the hardest thing first, then everything else is downhill from there. So I agree. You know, if you're learning to read, you don't read big words to start with. I agree with that. But when you're doing a task, you know, like when you're cleaning house, to me the hardest thing is all the vacuuming you have to do. And I sort of enjoy mopping the floors. Well, I don't mop the floors before I vacuum, right?
Yeah, but if you vacuum, and listen now, I know, let's talk about vacuuming.
All right, he's going to get camera time now.
Let's talk about vacuuming, because I help you when we vacuum.
Yeah, you
But
do.
the truth is, if you, using your logic, if you vacuumed the whole house, then you would be exhausted. And
That's
you couldn't-
right.
You couldn't do those little simple jobs.
Which is why sometimes stuff doesn't get dusted because I'm too tired.
That's what I'm saying. So if you had gone ahead and started with the simple job first,
Uh-huh.
then you would not have worn yourself out. You would be fresh, ready to go. When you get to the hardest job, then you can do that.
All right, now see, that's totally backwards.
No, it's
To
totally,
me.
totally forward.
Well, I mean, you know, like when you're doing the garden, the hard part is tilling the ground, or what we used to do, digging it all up. Well, there's some things that you have to do first, even though they're the hardest, because if you don't do them, you can't do what's left. Like you can't plant a garden unless it's tilled up or turned over or whatever, right?
But here's the thing. Had we been keeping the ground up all during the year, we would not have had that kind of a problem. I'm thinking now about up at Mountain Rest, the garden up there.
Right.
I mean, it was a jungle.
That's right.
It was a real
a
jungle.
ju-
And
It
we
was a
had-
jungle of daisies, which were beautiful, by the
Yeah,
way,
right.
and
Dandelions.
and dandelion. Yeah, the dandelions were beyond big. They were something. They were like, I think you said the right word. It was like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's right. It
Yeah,
was terrible.
minus
Right.
the dinosaurs.
But if that hadn't happened, if we'd been keeping that ground up, if we'd been, mowing and, not letting it get to that point, because every spring it's going to get like that.
Yeah, I know.
So the thing to do is not let it get to that point, but that you'd have no choice on something like that.
That's right. We didn't, because I got sick, and then you were in the hospital, so we couldn't do anything. All right. So in conclusion, what do you think makes a good marriage?
I still think that you need to meld, to blend as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to always say, I'm right and you're wrong.
Now, do we get into that kind of discussion?
Occasionally, because simply
Occasionally, we get into it a lot.
occasionally because you want certain things so exacting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, that's how God made me. I mean,
Well-
I've always been that way from the far as back as I can ever remember. Oh, I used to get in fusses with my sister because we shared a bedroom and she didn't clean up. And I would make up my bed and her bed wouldn't be made up and it would look terrible. And she would throw her clothes all over. And so let me just add that she actually ended up spending a month with my grandmother one summer. And it was the best summer of my life.
Oh my goodness.
Because I was able to keep my room neat and clean the whole time she was gone.
Well, I guess what you know the meaning of the word resilient.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'd like for you to be more resilient, you know,
More
to,
resilient to what?
to what I do.
To what you do. So this is, yeah, this is just reality. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I'm the
right.
way I am, and you're the way you are. So part
That's
of
right.
that with the melding needs to come acceptance.
That's right.
All right. So
That's right.
have you accepted that I'm an exacting person?
Um,
I am a perfectionist, but not about everything.
well, I'm in that process stage. But you know, melding, when we talk about cards, that's easy because, I mean, they have no life of themselves except what we do to combine them. You
Right.
know, whether it's the same suit or the same sequence or whatever. But when we're talking about individuals, and we're all made somewhat different, but we're also formed in the image of God.
That's true.
So, what we say and do ought to reflect
Oh, I
the
think
personality.
I think we should end on this. I can quote a scripture on that.
Okay.
Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is
I agree
perfect.
with that. I
Yeah,
agree with
that
that.
God thinks we ought to be perfect.
That's right.
All right.
But who identifies perfection?
What do you mean?
Who identifies perfection? I mean, which of the two of us would identify perfection?
Oh, in other words, the perfection is in the eyes of the beholder.
Well, it is, but I think we've come to understand each other and to move a little bit more toward the center.
Yeah,
You know.
like I accept that you leave your shoes out in the middle of the floor sometimes.
Well,
I
I
mean, it
do.
always irritates me when I see them, but you still do it, but you don't do it as much.
Well, up at Mountain Rest, there's no way to put my shoes.
That's true. That's true.
If I take them off, I don't have any place to put them.
That's exactly right.
But
There is
that-
no floor space.
Yeah. And in certain, you know, if you were to go about, if marriage is a matter of me trying to change you
Uh-huh.
to fit into what I think of as a perfect thing, or you trying to change me into the image of what you think is a perfect thing,
Uh-huh.
we wouldn't ever get anywhere.
That's true.
But so it's a matter of as our personalities interact though, and as we married longer and longer we're married, then the more we get to where okay, we will accept certain things. Now, for example, you will not watch 24.
Are you talking about that TV show?
Yes, I'm talking about the TV show 24.
Yeah, but
that is my favorite show.
yeah, but it's not my favorite show.
I know that, but you absolutely are intolerant.
No,
toward it.
I sat here. I just had my computer in my lap and I watched YouTube videos.
Okay, now how about
I mean, do you
how
want
about
me?
a baseball game?
Same thing.
Same thing.
All right. Do you want me to sit here and pretend I'm enjoying it?
Oh no,
that would be a little
I don't want
dishonest.
any pretenses.
Right. But you can't, Mike. You can't force me to like sports.
But now let me just say though, I watched I think what 3 movies this week
Yeah.
that were your kinds of movies.
Well, they weren't shoot 'em up, bang 'em up.
No, but what I'm trying to
Super
say, no,
violent.
they weren't shoot 'em up, bang 'em up. But I'm just saying that they were more in the line of what you like.
Right, but men and women are different.
I know that.
Women mostly don't like violence.
Well, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so.
So,
But sports, for example,
All right, but-
I think men tend to like sports more than women,
all right, right,
unless
right,
they're participating in some sport.
right. All right. So last night, you watched how many episodes of 24?
Two.
2 episodes.
2 episodes.
And so I sat here and I watched a documentary on the Holocaust.
Which was good. I
Yeah.
have seen some of those.
Yeah, it was
I know
real
what
good.
you're talking about.
All right, so
Very
I
good.
enjoyed watching that a lot more than I would have enjoyed watching 24.
Well,
So in that was sort of a compromise, but hey, I was sitting here in the room with you. I just had my earplugs in so I couldn't hear the TV.
that's right. Well, we always look for shows that we have named actors, you know, that we can
Right,
identify. And
right. Well,
so Keith Sutherland is a named actor. You know.
is he in
Yeah,
24?
he's in 24.
Oh.
And also the fellow that, who is that fellow that says now, what's in your safe?
I
Who
don't
is
know.
that?
Yeah, I don't remember his name. I
He's
know who you're
playing.
talking
He's
about.
playing the president this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's another one we
Yeah.
know. So anyway, but the truth is, what you trying to do, Pippi?
He's trying to get up there.
Come on
And...
up here, Pippi. All right.
Okay, so it's about time for us to get started on our work.
Okay.
And so I'm going to give you a trim today on that beard. We're going to get you
Shave
back.
and a haircut.
No, I'm not going to give you a haircut. That's too much trouble. I'm going to I'll do the beard though. All right, so that's our take on marriage. That's Bucky's opinion, and then there's my opinion, right?
And it's still an act of melding.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
Throughout
right.
marriage.
Well, wouldn't you say you have changed since we got married?
Yes.
And I know I have changed.
Yes.
I mean, I've accepted things I never dreamed I would accept.
That's right.
Like one of the things, I used to clean my house from top to bottom on Friday. If I had to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday night, I would get my house clean. Now I can go for 2 weeks without cleaning. Not that it doesn't bother me, but I can do it if I have to, right? So that part is good. And
That
so,
is good.
so how have you changed?
I was changed in so many ways.
Well,
It's hard to list them all.
let's just see if you can name one.
No, I would say I have become more.
Less sports oriented.
I don't. Well, no, not less sports oriented. Because I mean, hey, you married a coach. You know, I mean, I coach baseball, football, and basketball.
Right.
So it's hard for me to get loose of that, and I would, and especially Carolina. You know.
Yeah, I know.
South Carolina. I'm gonna watch those.
Well,
games
I
and
still-
listen to them over the radio. You'll see. I've got a portable radio, and sometimes
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
be listening to
Yeah, I
them.
know. When we were getting ready to leave up from Mountain Rest, all you wanted to know was where was your radio.
That's right.
I mean, that was unreal.
Because Carolina is not on TV all the time. Now, most of the time in football games they are on TV, but baseball games no.
Yeah. All right. I think we better end this because we could talk forever on marriage. And now I don't know if other people go through all this or not, but I mean, nobody's perfect, really.
But we all strive toward perfection, and that the perfection that God wants us to
Yeah.
prescribe.
Yeah. But we're different, and you're right. If we were exactly alike, we'd probably get bored.
We would
Yeah.
be bored. So I think that we have different personalities.
Right.
You know. Anyway, this has been very interesting.
Yeah.
Have you learned something from it?
Yeah, well, the big question is, did you learn
Of
anything?
course.
Well, and so did I. I learned that we do melding.
But we do.
We
do meld.
We meld.
We meld together.
That's right.
We
That's
blend.
right.
We
All right.
merge.
Yeah, I've got to add this. Of course, Mr. Bucky was an educator for many, many years, and one of the things he is so good at is spelling any word. And when we were doing the books, of course, you had to get all the spelling right, and I did a lot of the typing or entering it on the computer, which was typing for, I think we ended up doing 7 books.
That's right.
And but anyway, so the computer program had a spell check on it, and I would do the spell check on different things, and many times the spell check was wrong.
That's right.
And you were right.
That's
So
right.
you became my spell check and still
That's
are.
right. And I don't say that I spell every word correctly. As a matter of fact, if I spell one incorrectly, for example, on my website,
Uh-huh.
my website is more or less a book,
Right.
but I mean plus blogging. But if I get something spelled wrong, I'll say that'll bother me. I'll say that just something about that word, and it might be the next paragraph before I think about it, what's wrong with it. And then
Uh-huh. Then you go
I
back.
actually look it up in the dictionary or whatever and make sure that I've got it. A lot of times I'll have it right and maybe think I've got it wrong.
All right, so then you can relate to this, just based on what you just said. When I see the newspaper laying in the floor, and
I don't read newspapers.
I know, but all right, let's say a magazine laying in the floor beside your chair, it bothers me. And so, say an hour or so goes by, and maybe I've left the room, gone in the kitchen, come back or whatever, it's still laying on the floor. And then finally you go out and are working in the yard, and I look over there, and that magazine is still laid. It really irritates me because I always know I'm the one that's going to have to pick it up.
But I'm right in the middle of a story in a magazine.
Right.
And
But we've got a table here. You know, it's got a shelf under
that
it.
shelf usually stays occupied.
You know, the shelf usually stays empty because the stuff is on the floor. It is.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. I've got
Now-
my blood pressure thing on the floor. That little
Now,
exercise,
yeah, all right,
breathing
so-
exercise thing.
Yeah, from that you haven't done in.
And my portable radio, of course, it stays close by.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be on the floor. Couldn't it be on the shelf
Well,
under the
but
table?
if I put all of those things on the shelf, then I'd be knocking things off the shelf.
But you don't
See.
have that much under the shelf.
Well, what would you suggest that I leave on that shelf that would be more?
That shelf is pretty big. You could put all that stuff you just named under there. First of all, you don't need the breathing thing anymore because that was only after you were home from the hospital.
That's
So
right.
you don't.
Why-
so
why
why
is
is
it
that
even
still?
here?
Well, that's what I
Well,
want to know.
You should have already picked that up.
But see,
thrown it
that's
away.
what I know. Yeah.
I mean, this
all,
thing-
all right. Yeah.
This is a contraption.
Yeah, that's
sure
what
enough.
you have to do so you don't get pneumonia
Yeah, that's
after
right.
you've had surgery.
I mean,
And
that
so
is-
see,
look
you
at
don't.
that contraption.
But you don't need it any longer. Why
That's
is it
right.
still in
Well,
here?
you won't throw it away?
Yeah, put it in the garbage.
All right, now.
Now, you see, we got a little garbage can here, and the reason we do is so things can actually go in that little garbage.
Mhm.
So wasn't that easy how you just did that? You
That's
just
right.
picked it
Now-
up and put
but
it in.
now, here's another thing. I don't usually leave my Bible like this after I've finished with it. I mean, it's like that right now because I've been using it. But, so I'm not going to have room for the Bible, and I just got to have my Bible close by.
All
You
right,
know what I'm
but
saying?
how about if things were put where they're supposed to be, and then when you need them, you actually get up and go get them. Then when you finish using them, you go back and put them in the place that they belong.
Well, that's true, but what has this turned out to be here?
It's getting into an
Is this-
argument.
Is this a lesson?
No, no.
Let's get back to the
All
whole
right,
point.
yeah,
The whole point is when you get married, you've got to merge different personalities,
Yeah.
different people.
And isn't it always the little
different-
things that bother you?
That's exactly right. Always the little things. Big things we can always agree. Well, I wouldn't say we always agree, but we agree on cruises. I doubt if we're gonna take another cruise.
I know.
We've been on 3.
I
Right?
know. No
Okay.
more cruises.
But we agree on let's go traveling somewhere. You know,
Right.
we usually agree on that.
We certainly agreed on the mountain property.
Right. We agree on the mountain property. We agree on most things.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's the little things. It's
Yeah.
what that makes us different that we sometimes disagree about.
Right. And I have accepted that you're not perfect.
I'm in that process of accepting that too about you. But you know.
All right.
And I don't know that we're ever going to change each other to the point to where you are exactly what I want you to be.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we're always going to have individual characteristics about us that
Yeah.
we're going to retain.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to continue to be sports minded. You know, I'm going to continue to watch 24.
Yeah. Well, I think the funny thing is that how you insist on watching this certain ball game, and then I look over there and you're just sound asleep. You're
That
not
doesn't
really
hap-
watching.
That doesn't happen during football. And it doesn't happen during Carolina game. It will happen when I'm watching, let's say, the
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball, Major League Baseball.
Or golf.
golf.
Yeah.
Or basketball.
Well, I mean, golf puts me to sleep. It does.
But, you know, something like that.
Okay, well, we better go and cut this short. All right, so y'all been asking for Mr. Bucky to tell stories or whatever. Of course, this wasn't really a story, but we got him to talk, and because it's early in the morning, that's why. And so anyway, we will see y'all next time. I don't know what to call this. What, melding?
That's right.
Yeah, we'll just call it melding. Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all next time.
All right.